Okay, setting up Ikon or MSH Brain fly barless unit to have collective pitch with self-leveling. Okay, prerequisite to performing this procedure is you have to make sure that your self-leveling functionality works normally. And what I mean by that is, it basically, you go out to fly your helicopter, get it to a hover, activate self-leveling, make sure there's no drift or anything. Okay, once you have that working and you're sure that it works, the next thing you have to do is set up mixing on your radio in order to activate that third channel for self-leveling. And once you have that mixing set up, adding collective is going to be the easy part. Alright, the radio that I'm using to perform this is a DX8, so those of you with a DX8 are going to be lucky enough to have this file. For those of you guys with other radios, you could it's the same logic, you just have to apply it to your setup. Okay, so the first thing we do, okay, I have the Ikon fly barless unit hooked up to my PC, and I have the user interface set up to the screen where you select, or where you're able to see which setup bank you're in. Alright, so I'm going to activate my radio. And then I'm going to go to switch select. Alright, now you see I have that momentary switch set up to the aux3 button. Alright, and the setup files are being determined by my, what do you call this, my gear channel, which is a 2-position switch, and I set that to aux2. So aux3 is basically going to mix into aux2 to be able to get that third channel. Okay, go to my setup screen. Let's go to servo setup. Go to aux2. Now, as you can see, by default, aux2 endpoints are set to 100%, 100%. That's fine, because it's going to enable you to get from one setup to another. Take, for example, here, right now I'm in setup 3, okay, and then when I flick my aux2 or gear switch, it automatically goes to setup 1 default. Okay, now, how do we get to the third bank, which is setup 2? So basically, in order to do that, you have to go back to your radio. Alright, and you have to go to the mix. Alright, and then you go to mix 1. Okay, and by default, this is all going to be set to 0. Alright, so right now we're going to max out the mix that goes to aux2. So I selected my mix 1, I set aux3 to go to aux2, right? So I hit the aux2 percentage, because that's what we want to mix into. So let's max that out to 125. Okay, now if you look at the sliders, when I hit aux 3, you see aux 2 goes to the middle position, right? Aux 3 slider slides all the way to minus 125, or aux 3 slides all the way to the left, and it brings aux 2 down to the middle part of the slider. See? Okay, now what does that do to the screen? So right now we're in setup 3, and when I hit aux 2, it goes to the third setting, or the middle setup, which is setup 2. Alright, now one issue I found with this is, doing it this way, I can only activate the third bank when I'm in setup 3. So what happens if I'm in setup 1, like I am now? I hit the aux 3, the trainer switch, which is the mix, and see, it won't go in. And the reason for that is, see where aux 2 is right now? When I toggle down to my second setup, the slider goes all the way left. Now when I hit the aux 3 mix, it doesn't bring it far enough towards the middle that it's good enough to activate the third channel. But if I'm in the other channel, if I'm in setup 3, and I achieve that by hitting the gear switch where the slider's all the way right, and I hit the aux 3 button or the trainer switch, it brings it to the middle. And bringing it to the middle, it's able to achieve that third, or it's able to get that third channel. Okay, so how do we fix that? Alright, so right now we're in aux 2, hit the trainer switch, it doesn't go far enough in. So what you do is, okay, oh, and by the way, if you're using the DX8, see how I have all these 3 flight modes, or the 2 flight modes highlighted, which stands for normal 1 and 2. You have to highlight those, see, because they come like this by default. So highlight all 3. Okay, so we achieved that. We achieved being able to activate that in the second channel by going to servo setup. And what you do is you have to adjust the throttle. You have to adjust the travel for aux 2. By default, it's set to 100, right? So now, what we have to do is we have to try to bring up that channel so that when we hit aux 3, it slides further up. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this to, let's say, well, I already know the value, so I'm just going to rush to it, 66. Alright, now when I hit that, see how aux 2 gets brought towards the center, and by hitting aux 3, it brings it even further up the center. Alright, and when we get it to further up the center, it's able to get that third channel, or that third bank. So now, okay, by default we're in setup 1. Hit the trainer button. Okay, and now we're able to get our self-level channel, or self-level bank. Alright, now we're in setup 3. Hit the trainer button, and of course we're still able to get the setup bank, the self-level bank. Now that's step 1 of the procedure. Now that was the hardest part. Now step 2 is adding positive pitch to it. Being that the Ikon unit only self-levels on the right side up position, meaning that, let's say you're inverted, it's not going to self-level inverted, unlike other flybarless units like the 720 or the Helicommand HC3SX. I happen to have all three units, and this is the reason why you're able to do this on this unit, because it only levels in the right side up position. So what you want to try to do is, once you hit the trainer button, okay, you want to add positive pitch into the mix. And the way you do that is, again, you have to go to your mix channel. Okay, and okay, that's our mix one. So you want to go to a second mix. Okay, now this mix is mix 2, and I did the auxiliary 3 to pitch. Alright, now our main goal is, you're gonna see the pitch slider right here, right? Okay, now my hover position, okay, I'm gonna adjust the stick to where my hover position is. I'd say like right about there, right? Notice my pitch slider is there. Alright, so let's say let's say I hit the bailout. Okay, so bailout's activated. All right. How do we want the pitch to move? We want it, well, obviously we want it to move up. So I find in the DX8 a good value for this, assuming that you have a linear pitch curve in your stunt 1 and stunt 2 mode, is 77. And that's what I was using for the videos. And the reason why I say this is because, remember, this is going to only self-level in the right side up position, right? So okay, let's say I'm in the upper part of my collective. I'm above mid stick, That's gonna be no problem, because you hit self-level, you're still in the right side up position. You don't have to worry about your adding positive collective, because it's already going to be in the positive mode, or it's going to already be above mid stick. So let's look at the sliders. So right now that pitch slider represents, let's say I'm in a hover, or like I'm slightly above mid stick. Okay, so you notice that it adds more pitch, right? But let's say you're flying inverted. Okay, what you have to make sure when you adjust this rate is that when you're inverted, okay, so let's say right there, I'm in throttle hold right now, so I'm just gonna change my throttle hold to a linear throttle hold to simulate my idle 1 and 2 modes. Okay. And we'll go back to that mixing channel. Okay. So let's say now you're inverted, right? You're hovering around or flying inverted. Usually your stick position is going to be just slightly below, the mid-level. Alright, but what about your pitch slider? You have to make sure that that pitch slider, right, goes back, when you hit the bailout switch, you have to make sure that you're gonna achieve positive pitch, right? Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna happen so fast that it's gonna turn over and level itself and then climb. So this is gonna happen simultaneously. It happens so fast that you have to make sure that when you're in negative and you hit the bailout switch, the pitch has to be in the right half of the slider, because you want it to add positive pitch. If you don't have enough mix, it's just going to stay in a negative, or it's not going to climb at all. Okay, so right now, okay, we're representing a position where, let's say we're doing some inverted flying. All right. Okay, something happens and you need to hit the bailout. So hit the bailout and let's pay attention to the slider. So there, it goes into the positive pitch range in the right side up position. So the helicopter is gonna turn itself right side up and at the same time add some positive pitch. All right, and that's my value, and you can adjust this value because you're going to be more concerned with the inverted pitch, or you're going to be more concerned when the heli's inverted. You have to make sure that it achieves enough pitch that when it turns over, you're in that positive realm of the pitch slider. All right, and for me, a good value is 77, and you can bump it up even further if you want. More aggressive climb,